Okay, if you're thinking about making the move to Redlands, California, and you have no idea what's happening as far as local politics, it's probably a good idea you at least have some idea. Um, and I'm not talking like City Hall and the mayor and citywide politics. This is specifically about Redlands Unified School District. So last year, 2024, two of the five seats on the school board were awarded to or won by two far right extremist candidates. And so what they've been trying to do has been extremely hateful. I'll just say it. And they try to present it as a political stance, and it's inclusive of everybody, but it's really not. Everybody sees right through it. Exactly what's happening. And so I could make this video probably 2 or 3 hours long. Obviously, we're not going to do that. This will maybe be only 8-10 minutes. We'll see how much I speak. But basically what I want to do is just highlight 3 policies that have been presented by the board. So at least have some, or maybe 4. So you have some idea of what's happening, just so you don't get completely blindsided. Okay, so the first one I want to talk about involves flags being displayed in classrooms, on campuses, anywhere. Calendar events, as well as ceremonies. So, it's presented as this thing that's meant to be inclusive and represent everybody, and it's apparently totally neutral, but let's be real, like, we see straight through it. It is a direct attack on the pride flag and the LGBTQ community. It is very obvious what they're doing. They're just punching down at marginalized communities, and it's disgusting. This particular policy has been discussed for months now. And finally, just at the most recent board meeting, they finally voted on it and it passed. So starting this next school year, the only flags that will be permitted on campuses are the USA flag, California state flag, and military flags. And again, it's obvious that this is just an attack on people's identity. And it's, we'll see what happens as far as... So this policy also prohibits specific events on the calendar, month-long events, like, for example, Pride Month or Black History Month or Mexican Heritage Month, like all these very important things that so many of our students and staff identify with are just going to be brushed aside. So we'll see how this new school year starts. What's really infuriating about it is that these board members are just copying exactly what has been done down at Temecula Unified, and then also over at Chino Valley Unified. And it's already very well known that these policies are going to be litigated in court and lose. So Temecula taxpayers spent over $100,000 in court on this policy before it was eventually rescinded. So our USD school board is essentially voluntarily walking down a path of guaranteed lawsuits that are going to cost taxpayers money. And more importantly, sadly, it's just going to be very destructive to LGBTQ students, parents, staff in general. So we'll see what happens. But the good news is many seats of these school board members are up for re-election in the not too distant future. So we'll see what happens. Okay, next up, we need to talk about book banning. The school board has presented a potential policy of wanting to essentially parent every single student in the school district instead of using the already existing policy that includes expert librarians, as well as principals, as well as community members, that allows parents to, remove their students from reading these books if they don't want to, without any penalty whatsoever. But instead, here we have this policy that just wants to unilaterally ban books. And if you know anything about world history, US history, banning books, right, is censorship, is a hallmark of authoritarianism, and something that is just clear as day as to what's happening. So we'll see what happens. They haven't voted on it for months now, just because there's been so much public pressure. At the most recent meeting, 73 people got up and spoke. I think it was over 4 hours. 73 people got up and spoke in opposition to all of these policies that they're trying to pass, compared to just 11 people who got up and spoke in support of these policies. So it's quite frustrating when the board just, votes on their own agenda and doesn't actually listen to their constituents. So my guess is whenever they actually do decide to vote, my guess is that a new, more lax version of a book banning policy will be implemented. 2 of the board members have successfully delayed, trying to get at least some compromise, just talking about how the process would work, and but we'll see when the vote actually comes. Okay, and real quick before I go any further, if you're with these people, and you're all gung-ho about, like, you're happy that this is happening, so Redlands, please just, bye, go find another agent. There are plenty of agents out there. We obviously would not work well together. Later. Okay, now the third policy I want to talk about is policy that was just recently presented by school board members, but was immediately pulled because the California State Attorney General is reviewing its legality. Okay, so let me say that again. It didn't go on the meeting agenda because the California State Attorney General needs to look at it right off the bat. Okay, this policy would require teachers to notify parents of a whole list of things. Some of them are, very basic, like if your student athlete gets hurt, obviously you want to be notified that. Coaches already do that. Like, let's be serious. But the more worrying components are, if, let's say, Peter, instead of liking Peter to be called in class, I want to go by Pete, a very simple nickname. Teachers would have to call home and say, hey, Peter wants to go by Pete. I just want to let you know. Is that okay with you? Like, just so everybody's on the same page. So creepy, I'd say. And then it gets worse from there. You know, if your student attends a club meeting, that I guess it's that club advisor has to notify the parents of who attended that club meeting. So again, I don't think anybody's too worried about, you know, someone joining, I don't know, chess club or video game club, like, but it's obviously just a direct attack on LGBTQ students. So if they go to a GSA meeting, apparently that advisor has to call home and say, oh, by the way, you know, your student, you're 14, 15, 16, 17, like whoever, came to a meeting and we want to make sure you know, right? So just disgusting. But again, it's not even being discussed yet because the state of California is already on it. So, and this is happening with another policy where the board is just trying to pass through these illegal policies, knowing that they're gonna get lawsuits as a result with the state of California that are gonna be funded with Redlands taxpayer money. So it's just like the most infuriating thing where these people are trying to take Redlands Unified and all its people, jump off a cliff without a parachute and just kind of force these things on people that majority aren't even coming close to really wanting. So there you have it. Definitely a different tone to this video. But if you had no idea, at least you have some idea now. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. See you on the next one.